Hello again, everybody. Here we are for another HTML tutorial, and today I want to show you some things to do with graphics with your web page. So everything we've done up to this point has been with text and lists and those kind of things, and I want to show you how we can incorporate graphics into our web page. Obviously, it's like the most important part to make it visually pleasing, and then just to show you the different things we can do with those. So here's what we have. This is kind of similar to what we've used for our templates in the past. So we have our doc type HTML, we have our HTML open and closed. Okay, we have the head area, which has our title, our meta character set, UTF-8. Okay, we have our body tag. Inside the body tag we have one for the header, one for the section, and one for the footer. Alright, so if you need to pause and get that stuff typed in or to open up a previous file to clear that out, that's perfectly fine. Alright, the other thing I wanted to show you is I have in this folder, it's in my tutorials folder, and I'm making this site about the state of Wyoming, just some general information. And this is called YO site is the folder, and I have an images folder in there and my yo.html for my outside HTML file I'm working on. Inside the images, I already created these and got those, kind of used Photoshop to make them the size that I wanted for this project. So those are some kind of things I did ahead of time, you know, and you'll kind of see with this how you could do that. Okay, so I'm going to close that up. And I think we're ready to start here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do here for the title of my web page is I'm going to just call this Wyoming. Alright, and then underneath that we're ready to go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to do is I want to put an image in here for the header. Okay, so the way we do this is in between the header there, I'm going to put in a tag here, and so the way you add an image is you type in img src equals, and then I'm going to put in quotation marks, and because this is saved inside the images folder, I'm going to put in images and then a slash, and then I can put in the name of the banner, which I just called yo banner.jpg. Okay, then after that I'm going to put in alt equals Wyoming website banner. Okay, now the reason why we have this here is because if it's let me show you here. I'm gonna save this, I'm gonna run this in Chrome real fast, and here's my banner up here. Okay, so obviously this works. Alright, but let's say I didn't have the file, or I was looking for a different file in there. Like let's say yobanner1 JPEG was supposed to be the name of the file. I'm going to save it, I'm going to hit refresh, and I don't have that file in there, so then up here it shows me Wyoming website banner, so that way people would know what was supposed to be there if there was a broken link or something. So that's why we use this alternate text here to show up when the picture isn't working. Okay, but we want it to work right, so I'm going to go back to the original way. Okay, so there's our header. Alright, and then the next thing that I want to do is I want to go underneath the header, and I'm going to go into the section. And so I'm going to put in most everything. I think I'm going to just put in, actually let's skip that and let's go down to the footer real fast. We'll get that one out of the way. Okay, so here down in the footer, I'm going to actually give the footer let's do it like this. Okay, I promise I'm actually much more organized than what it seems right now. Alright, so we have the footer. Inside here I'm going to use another image source. Okay, and just like the other one, images slash, and I want to put in my image, which is called yo flag.jpg. Alright, and then after that I'm going to put in alternate text, and it's going to say picture of Wyoming state flag. Okay, so we have that there, and then also in the same footer I'm going to go below that, and I'm going to put in some text here. Alright, and then this is going to be just for EM tag, and close the EM tag to make it italicized, and I want to use one of my entity codes, so I'm going to use my and sign and copy and semicolon to give the copyright sign, and then I'm just going to put in my name here and then the year. Alright, so I'm going to save that, check back here. Alright, and so here's the header, here's the footer. Okay, and that looks pretty good. And then now I'm going to go down to where the section is. Alright, so you know, there's actually a few things we can do to this page just so it's not looking so generic. One of the things is we can make everything centered with this. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that right now actually. So I have up here I have the body, which we've put around this whole entire thing, and then underneath that we're going to make another class. Okay, and so here's what we'll do. We're going to put this in, and we're going to put in a div, and then we're going to say ID and then quotation marks, and we are going to make this be a page box. Okay, so ID page box. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to give this a style. Okay, so I'm going to go style equals background hyphen color, and we're going to play around with this in a few different ways, but for now this will work. And I'm going to go with pound sign B3 for the hex code, CFDD, and then semicolon. And then after that I'm going to give it a width of 70%, so it's not quite all the way around to the edges of the screen. And then I also am going to, after that, put in margin colon, and I'm going to have it be auto and semicolon, and here's this. Alright, so there's that. Okay, and now what I want to do to make sure that my banner looks nice with this is I'm going to go back to my header area here, and inside of this I'm going to put in a style for the Wyoming banner. Okay, so right after this, after it says alternate Wyoming website banner, I'm going to go style equals width colon 100%. Alright, and then after that I'm going to actually go height colon and auto, so that it stays scaled as it goes through that stuff. Okay, so image source, I'm going to put my little end of the close tag there for the header. Alright, I'm going to hit save right here, and let's take a look and see how this is shaping up to be. Okay, so right now this looks pretty good in the middle. We need to do something about this. Okay, so going down to the footer, I'm going to just give the whole footer a style, and there's an easier way to make all these things have a consistent style, and we'll talk about that later when we get into CSS. But for right now, since we're just learning HTML basics, this is kind of how we can make this work. So I'm going to go footer style equals quotation marks, text align, center, semicolon, close quotation marks. We've used that in our tags for beginners tutorial. Okay, so that means everything in there is going to be centered. Alright, so let's go back here and let's look at this. Okay, it's starting to look a little bit better like a page. We have this blue color, grayish blue, is for our hex code that we put up here. And you'll see that the banner, it's 100% wide, so it's going 100% of the container that it's in. And since the container is at 70% of the screen size, it's 100% of the 70%, if that makes sense. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Another thing I want to do here is I'm actually going to go to the Wyoming State flag part here of the image source, and I'm going to make that image a little bit smaller, just to kind of show you, if you shrink this page down, see, that's not very responsive. The background is responsive, it shrinks with the window, and we'll talk a whole lot more about responsive web designs and for mobile devices and multiple screen sizes later, but for right now, I do want to kind of make that look a little bit better just for this and just to show you how. So right here I'm going to go add a style to this image. Style equals, and I'm going to go width is 30%. Okay, and then I'm also going to do the same thing I did above. Height is auto. Alright, now I'm going to save this. Check it out here, it's a little bit smaller. Okay, and now it scales. It looks good on a variety of screen sizes right there on however we do that. Okay, so let's look at this now. Obviously you're seeing this image here, and this does not look very good with the white background, so I intentionally did that. I saved this image 2 times in my images folder. This is as a JPEG, and with the JPEG, anything that's transparent in the background will fill it with a white square. I have the same image saved as a PNG file, and PNG, where I have the outside all cut out, it's going to preserve your transparencies. Okay, so just to kind of show you in here, I have the YO flag in here twice, and it looks the same because it's got a white background. But let me show you here. I'm going to switch it from YOFlag.jpg to .png. And so the only thing different is the background was transparent on both, but the JPEG put the white box behind it. With the PNG, it removes the white box, and whatever's transparent is there. So you can use Photoshop for that. You can also use like Paint.net, GIMP, any of those other programs. There's also a variety of programs online that can help you crop out the white square and then save it as a PNG. So there's that image, and now it's really starting to look a whole lot better than it was when we first started. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's go here to the section. Okay, we're going to put in a paragraph here. So there's our paragraph tags, and underneath this I'm going to add an image. Okay, so we're getting good practice with this, which is good. That's why we're having the tutorial for images. Source equals quotation mark images slash, and this one I'm going to use a picture from Yellowstone.jpg, and I'm going to go alternate equals quotation marks picture of old Faithful Geyser. Alright? Okay. So we have that on there, so that now looks pretty decent for as far as the code goes and everything. Alright, and then, and don't forget to slash at the end of the images. That's something that I've been bad about lately, and I'm not sure why. Okay, so we have this image here, and let's take a look here and see how this is looking. It's on the right hand side. Okay, now after that, since this is still in the paragraph section, I'm going to put in some text just to fill some space. Okay, so I'm just going to go Yellowstone Park is the first ever national park in the United States and is located in Wyoming. The park is known for its amazing wildlife, beautiful scenery, and geothermal features like the geyser pictured here. This geyser is named Old Faithful because of its predictability as it erupts about every hour. Okay, so here's some text with this. Alright, I'm going to click Save. Alright, and then we'll go here, and all of these images were created with things from, except for this one down here. These up here were from Unsplash.com, which is a great source for free online high-resolution pictures. So if you're ever looking for images to use, Unsplash.com, Pixabay, I use both of those quite a bit. So here's this thing. I'm going to hit refresh. Okay, and you'll notice here we have some text and we have some words here to the side. It doesn't look really good. See, these are both on the same line. So the picture's done, then it's going to move just on the side. So I want to show you something here. We can actually add a style to this image. So let me go here to where it says the geyser. Okay, and then after geyser and the quotation marks, but before that slash, I'm going to put in a style equals, and I'm going to put in float right. Okay, so let's take a look at what this does. I saved it, go to refresh here, and you'll see right here we have this text and it fills it in on the left hand side. So it's kind of a good way to keep that there. Now you'll notice right here, see how because that's float to the side, the next item in line will go ahead and start filling it in the space too. So we need to do something to fix that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go underneath that, and let's make another paragraph. Okay, so we got paragraph and a paragraph. Alright. Okay, so here this time we're going to just put in some text, and I'm going to type in here Wyoming is also home to Devil's Tower National Monument and Grand Teton National Park. Devil's Tower is an igneous rock formation that stands 867 feet from summit to base. The Grand Teton is the highest mountain in Grand Teton National Park. Okay, So we have this information here, and then let's look at this again. I'm going to go save, and I'm going to look in here, and I'm going to refresh and see how it still wraps that text right there. So the way we can fix that is by going up here to this, to this paragraph. I can put in a style here. So p style equals quotation marks clear colon both semicolon. Alright, and now watch the difference. Okay, so now it moves it down to the next line. Okay, so sometimes that can be useful where you have to clear both with the next style. Alright, now the next thing I want to do is I want to put in a couple pictures here to show you how we can do pictures side by side. These are still going to be both in the same paragraph. Alright, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to do a couple different things for this. I also want to add some captions to this as well. Okay, so here's how we can add pictures with captions. Alright, so in here I'm going to actually, you know what, let's go ahead and put this in its own section below that. Okay, so that'll be a lot easier. Alright, let's go here. I'm going to go figure, and the style for the figure tag is going to be equals text hyphen align center, close quotation marks. And then after that I'm going to put in another tag, and this is going to be for my images. Okay, and I use the center because I want both of these pictures to be centered underneath, so that's why I put that style with the figure. So I'm going to go image source equals quotation marks images, because it's in my images folder, and I made an image called devilstower.jpg that I put in that folder. So we have that images devilstower.jpg, and then my alternate text is going to be picture of Devil's Tower. Okay, so there's one of my pictures. Okay, and then after that I'm going to put in another image source here, image source, and this one is going to be called, I'm pretty sure, oops, quotation marks images, and I'm pretty sure I called this one tetons.jpg. We'll find out in a little bit, I guess. Okay, so images slash tetons.jpg alternate equals quotation marks picture of Grand Tetons. Okay, and then here's my slash at the end, since that's an image. Okay, now what I want to do after those two pictures is I want to put in, because this is still in my figure up here, and so I put my figure and then I have that closed, and now I have my two images. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to put in here a fig caption, okay, which is going to give me a caption for this. Alright, and I want this to be in italics, so I'm going to put in EM there, and I'm going to put in there Devil's Tower and Grand Tetons pictured respectively above, since this is going to be below the text. Alright, so here's closing my EM tag for the italics. Okay, here's going to close my fig caption, and here's going to close my figure. Alright, and then we should be good. Let's check it out. We haven't viewed this in a while. We might have some crazy things going on. Hey, what do you know? It's working. Okay, so I have these two images right here. Alright, I could put a frame around these images or a space in there, but just for now you can kind of see how this is working for these pictures. This picture is floated right, it's staying on the right hand side, it fills that, and then notice as this shrinks down it puts these one right above the other. Okay, so that's kind of a cool thing for that. Okay, so let's look here. We have those things finished up. We talked about how to add the pictures, how to center those, change the sizes. You know, if we wanted to, we could make those images responsive as well with the others, and you can play around with that if you would like. And that's kind of there for the first part. So let's go ahead and take one more look at this and see what we could do differently here. One thing we can do, okay, yeah, this is actually a good idea. We can actually add a background image to this, alright? So the way we could do that is for the body tag up here at the top, we can add a style to that. So I'm going to go body and style equals, quotation marks, background image URL, and then I'm going to put in here, this goes in parentheses here, and so this is in my images folder, and I called it yobg.jpg. Okay, and then I'm going to put a semicolon after that. Alright, so I'm going to save and I'm going to check just to make sure this is working. Okay, and I have an image in the background here. It's really hard to see and it does not look very good, but we do have this image in the background to see how you can do that. Okay, so this is one type of image, whereas we look at this, you can see it's kind of repeating the image, and it also scrolls with the background. Sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you just want the image to be stationary in the background. So let me try this for an example. I'm going to go, that picture I showed there was a portrait sized one, so I did that on purpose to show you how that would scale as that. This time I'm going to go Wyoming background 2.jpg. Okay, and then after that I'm going to add another style to this. I'm going to add background image minimum height 100%. Okay, and then I'm going to also change another thing to the background here. I'm going to go background attachment is fixed, so that's going to keep it in the same place, and when I scroll only the text is going to move. And then I don't want it to tile or to repeat the background like a pattern, so I'm also going to add one more tag here, background repeat, no repeat. Alright, so I'm gonna click save here, and then I want to go back here and I want to change this. This image here in the background is a lot easier to see everything, and you can see I'm scrolling and only the middle part is moving. Alright, and because of the size of this, see, we said minimum height is going to be 100%. So we do have a little bit of space down there. Another thing you could do is we could say background image, background size, and then in here we could put in cover. So let's hit save here, and let's check this out. Okay, so now as we change the size of this image here, it moves along with the image. See, it doesn't become distorted or anything too crazy, I don't think. And now we have a pretty good responsive image here for this. Okay, so that's how we can make the size of that background image fit that way. And there's a few other things we can do here to kind of change the look of this assignment as well. Let's go ahead and, like, what if we didn't want this blue background and we wanted something where we could see the whole picture, but we could still see the text, right? So let's try this. Let's go here and let's go to our ID here. Excuse me. And if we go in here and we change this from a background color and we switch it to an image. Okay, so I'm going to go here to where it was background color, this hashtag. I'm going to switch this up, and I'm going to call this background image. Okay, and then I'm going to go URL. I'm going to erase this stuff out of the way and put in my trusty parentheses, background image URL, and I believe I called this dark BG, and it's a .png. Basically, this is just a picture of a small black square, and the black square is like 80% opacity, so you can kind of see through it. So, and I did that again with Photoshop. Alright, so this one's a PNG because I want to preserve those transparencies. Okay, and dark BG.png. Alright, let's click refresh here and let's check it out now. Okay, oh, my mistake, I forgot my images slash. Okay. Hit refresh here, and now we have this background as we scroll to where you can still see the picture, but we would be able to see the text if it was all light. So there's an easy way to fix this here. Okay, and so what we can do is we can actually go up to the body here, and we have all of these things for the styles, and we can actually go in and we can change the text color to be white. Okay, so in here I'm just going to go to the end of the body style, and right after background size and cover, and in here I'm going to put in a semicolon, and I'm going to put in color colon white. Alright, so if I save this, go in here and refresh, now my text is easier to see. Okay, so we got that. Now I just want to show a few other things left before we kind of wrap things up for this tutorial. It's kind of a long one, but there's a lot of different things we can do with graphics, and we'll revisit this and add more advanced things later, but this is enough hopefully to get you started. And the last thing I want to do is going underneath our Grand Teton steel here. I think I want to, yeah, we'll put it underneath that. I'm going to put in a paragraph. Okay, and then here I'm just going to say here is a list of other things to do if you visit the great state of Wyoming. Alright, So here's some text, and then I'm going to just make a unordered list here. Okay, so in here we have unordered list, and for the style, okay, let's do this. We'll just make an unordered list, and then I can put in li and then close li, and just to save some time, okay, I'll put in, I don't know, a list of things there, and then I'll close my unordered list here. So here's a list, and we're just gonna put in some things. I mean, it's mostly gonna be outdoorsy type of things. But alright, hunting, fishing, hiking. There's a lot of history at Wyoming. I mean, Wyoming Cowboys football. There we go. Okay, so I added this list in here. I'm going to go refresh. Remember, with these unordered lists, we have these bullets on here. Well, we can actually put pictures in there too. I made a little PNG with a transparent background with the little buffalo on it, since that's on the flag. So here we go. I'm going to, up here in my unordered list, I'm going to add a quick style. Style equals, quotation marks, list style image. So here's kind of another advanced thing with lists to kind of carry on from our previous tutorial on lists. List style image URL, and I'm going to put in images and then slash, and I just called them Wyoming bullet, since they're taking the place of bullets in an unordered list. .png. Okay, and then I'll put in my semicolon and my quotation marks. Okay, click save here, and let's refresh the list, and now you can see where we have little images here. I made the picture white already, so that wasn't because of the text. So the one thing is, your bulleted items are going to be whatever color that you make those. Okay, but hey, I think that's kind of enough to get you to kind of play around with. We incorporated lists. We have a banner up here. We have these. Again, I just cropped these from Unsplash with Photoshop. I made them 300 by 300 pixels. This one down here, I took a picture of the flag and made it like a wavy flag. Made these little images. And then this up here, I think, was 300 pixels tall by 1,000 pixels wide. But I made them the size that I want them to be, but there's a little bit of response elements to this too. And so you could even make this a little less dark if you wanted to. You could probably go maybe 75% transparent for that transparent background. But there it is. That's our web page of just using things we've learned so far. Simple tags, the list, but the most important thing was from the images. So hopefully this helps, and this should give you plenty of things to play around with as you continue learning about HTML and web design. Thanks for watching.